Hello, it's Randy Duck and welcome back for another video. And today I've got two replays to show you in the brand new Tier 9 Soviet medium premium tank, the TO-55. So this is the brand new Metal Fest tank which was released on Tuesday, and you can purchase it in the store for either 14,000 gold or 280,000 free XP. So it is quite expensive on the old gold front, but I guess it's nice. It gives you the option to purchase it for free XP if you do have a chunk of free XP saved up. So what I'm going to do is, it's a new vehicle. I'll quickly go over some of the statistics and then we'll get into the two replays where we can show you what the tank can do, as long with my crew and equipment setup I'm choosing to run. So what is this tank? Well, if you've ever played the Tier 8 Senjutsu TO-55, this is essentially a Tier 9 version of that tank. So they're very similar, but this is Tier 9 and some of the statistics have changed to match that. So what is it? Well, it's got 330 alpha. It's a typical tier, Soviet medium tank where you only have that 5 degrees of gun depression. And like I say, on the standard rounds, you've got 221 penetration on your standard AP rounds, which is pretty low penetration, and you can struggle to pen quite a few tanks with a shell velocity of 1070. But when you do start to come up those tanks like the heavy armoured heavies with the higher armour, you do have your heat rounds with 330 penetration, and that's very nice for your heat rounds, and you won't have any difficulty penning anything with that. But you do have a slower shell velocity of 895. In my build, the DPM is 3,331 with a base reload of 5.76 in my build. So you do have pretty decent DPM. But then you come on to the real key of the vehicle, and that is that it has a secondary weapon, flamethrower. So when you get into those close quarters battles, you do have to get reasonably close to use it. You can then basically swap to your flamethrower, so you're constantly taking damage in between your reloads, as well as having the added benefit of the flamethrower. Basically, it kind of stun locks the enemy tank, so you're essentially nerfing their DPM while you're flaming them, and it can mean it's quite powerful when you're combining the flame and your reload when you're getting that right. So use your flame as soon as your tank's ready to reload, swap to your reload, get that shot in, swap back to the flame, so you're constantly ticking that damage. As far as concealment goes, you do actually have pretty decent concealment. I think I've got mine down to 283 in my build, which is pretty good. When you're those situations where you need to rely on your concealment. The armour itself is fairly, it's kind of okay, as you say. I mean, you can side scrape quite well, and your whole armour, I would say, although you can ricochet shots, most tanks are not going to struggle to pen you for your whole armour. Your turret armour, when you're hull down, it can be pretty decent, except from the cupolas are quite large, so you can actually hit the cupolas quite easily. And those sort of tier 9, 10 tanks with the higher penetration on the premium rounds, or like, for example, like your heat rounds of the 330, you can go through the turret, so you do have to be careful of that. Top speed 55 kilometers an hour. It's a pretty mobile tank, and it also has decent view range. In my build I've got it to 505 because I am running the optics, which is nice, so you can spot for yourself. But that's pretty much the base of the statistics here. I'm just going to get into the replays now, stop boring you, and we can see more about the tank as the video progresses. Okay, so here we are for replay number 1 then on El Haloof, where we are platooned up with Big Swindle 321 in his T30. If you want to see the crew and equipment setup I'm choosing to run, you can see that at the bottom of the screen as I speak. And this is Tier 10 matchmaking. So as you can see, I've decided to push the middle here to try and see if we can spot any tanks which are crossing. Mainly because, normally I'd play the sort of C12 area, but being that I'm in a Soviet medium tank with only 5 degrees of gun depression, I'm going to find it very awkward to play on that ridge line there. And you have to try and choose your positioning carefully because of that. But it's actually worked out pretty well for us though, because you can see we did spot the cross, and we picked up 1,600 spotting assistance right off the bat there. We didn't snapshot that enemy E50, and I'm surprised I penned his turret with my low penetration, my AP. Got pretty lucky there. We managed to pick up 2 penetrations. You see I was blind firing just in case he was still poking. But we do have our platoon mate covering us in the T-30. I bounced the enemy Valor there, which is unfortunate. Like I say, you can, 221 penetration is not amazing. Sometimes you are going to need to use these heat shells in this vehicle. But at the moment, I'm being very patient, just spotting targets for my team. And I don't want to really push around at the moment because this enemy medium is at F7 location. But if that tank gets taken out, I might actually try and consider working my way around, see if I can push up onto the ridge on the sort of F8-9 area and try and sneak around the back of the enemy team and come behind them. That's my mindset at the moment. So I've got Swindle covering me right now, but yeah, that's my sort of long-term game because I didn't want to fight in the 1-2, but if we end up losing that, I do need to be pretty quickly, make a decision quickly. Otherwise, we're going to end up losing that side, and I'll need to come back to my base. But as it stands, it's still fairly even at the moment. Hit points are even. We actually do have a tank advantage. And I've seen my friendly Murat actually move up to try and take an aggressive play to kill this medium. And I'm considering actually going in to help him now, because I don't want to leave him by himself. Once the Murat's actually dubbed this clip, which he's done a good job of, he's actually left him on a one-shot. But the Murat's now on a reload, so I need to come and finish this tank so our Murat doesn't take punishment for this, because he's done a good play killing that tank. Well played to him, and now we're able to free up the map essentially, because this gives us the freedom to try and move up here unspotted. So I'm waiting to lose my detection so I don't get shot by some nasty TDs in the sort of E7 location, and I want to move around and try and win this side. If I can win this side, I can come around behind the enemy team. It does look like the enemy team are winning the sort of B1-2 fight at the moment. So there's a one-shot medium to my right which gets shut down, but this enemy light tank is coming to play. So we're going to put one shot into him here, and now we're going to swap to our flamethrower as we're reloading, just so we can tick over and do some extra damage. Now you do have to wait, although you're hitting him with the flame, it probably takes a couple of seconds for that tick to actually start happening. So that's something you need to be mindful of. One other benefit of flamethrowers is if you are fighting open top vehicles, say like the Borsig for example, or even that Gorilla there, you really do, your ticks do a lot more damage, and you end up really destroying their crew and equipment. So that's something to bear in mind there. So enemy team has won the 1-2 area. Now I need to be quick to react. The majority of the enemy team is on that side. There's only a few tanks holding us up on this side. So I'm going to try and come around and get to the base. If I can't come behind them, we're going to get in a little bit of trouble here. I do have the luxury of having Swindle 321 in my platoon, and he's holding the base, and he ends up doing a very good job at this, which has given me a bit of time. But this enemy F3005 is a problem for me because I can potentially be a one-shot to him, right? And also he's just delaying me. He's delaying me getting to the base, and I need to get back to the base. So I was just waiting to see if I could kill that F3005, but I'm going to try and take a safer route to kill him, because I think if I push round this side, I might be able to poke up and get the finishing shot in the F3005, because he's on a one-shot now. But I do need to get back to the base. That's what's in my mind right now. We need to get back to the base, but I don't want to leave this tank destroyer there, so he ends up coming behind me later on in the game and putting a nasty shot in. I do need to try and kill this tank here. Our friendly party wagon has actually destroyed the enemy artillery, which is nice. And as you can see, I have managed to catch that F3005 out. And we pick up our second kill of the game, putting us into 1,600 damage with 2,300 assistance there, left in a 3 versus 5, but all four, now a 4 versus 5, but there's 4 versus 3, sorry, but these 4 tanks are all towards the base, and it's only Swindle holding them off. Our party wagon at the moment is in the enemy base, so he's not going to be able to help us with his engagement. But I'm saying to Swindle, look, I'm not going to push all the way in. I'm going to hold this angle. Make yourself hard to dig out, because if you make yourself difficult to dig out here, I'm going to be able to shoot these tanks while they make their advance towards you. And that's exactly what he's doing. And with the artillery not in the game, Swindle's able to say hold down, and he's doing a really good good job here. You see he slaps that fella, that puts him on a one shot. I do have the kill shot there. We confirm our third kill of the game, and we brought this game right back now to a very winnable situation. The heavy, unfortunately, on the left, I do not have shots at. I'm saying to sort of Swindle, I'm communicating with my platoon mate saying I can't shoot the heavy at the moment. Do you need me to move and shoot him? He's saying at the moment the heavy's not a problem for him. So I'm just going to give me a little bit of time to try and come around and kill this Jag. But as that happens, we spot the enemy Type 5 heavy. And I wasn't expecting to see him there actually. I thought he'd already pushed a little bit down. But I don't want to fight this Type 5 heavy in the brawl. Although he's only on 1,000 hit points and we can easily pen him with our 330 heat, we would rather just leave him at the moment because the heavy he is slow, and I'm thinking he's chasing me around the right. This might actually give me an opportunity to sneak around and actually get a shot in this one-shot heavy tank here to help Swindle out. We are able to do that. We pick up our fourth kill of the game. My plan is now, look, I'll just go and kill the Jag Tiger. Once we kill the Jag, we can then just deal with the Type 5 heavy afterwards, because the Type 5, like I say, doesn't have the mobility to catch up with us here. We'll just kill this enemy TD and then we'll move on. So he is a one shot to us. I want to try and pick up the fifth kill because then it gives me an opportunity for a top gun. Type 5 is, I have to be careful because it does potentially have shots at us here, but we've moved into the buildings to try and hide us. We do eat one off the Jag. Should be able to finish off the enemy Type here though. We leave him on to a one shot, but I should be able to get there and get the kill. I can eat one off the Type unless I get set on fire here, which, yeah, we do manage to shut him down, pick up our Top Gun medal. So we finished that off with a decent amount, 3,000 damage, 2,000 assistance. Not the biggest game, but I wanted to use it because Swindle had a great game. As you can see there, 8,000 damage. And also, it's just a nice game where we worked together with our platoon mate there. But we have one more replay to come, and let's move on to the final replay of this video. Okay, so here we are for the final replay then, this time on Redshire. Well, we are platooned up with Swindle once again, who is in his standard B this time. This time it's tier 9 matchmaking. There's one enemy artillery and one enemy light tanks. Now, Swindle has told us he's going to play at the sort of B sort of 5 location, which is a good position for a medium with some gun depression. And what I've said is, well, I don't have the gun depression to play that ridge line effectively. What I'm going to do, I'm going to work with you, but I'm going to try and push down the 1-2 line. And essentially, if any enemy medium or tanks get spotted on the ridge, which Swindle should spot for us, we might be able to put them in a bit of a crossfire angle. So at least that is the plan. But initially, I just crash into a building, which slows us down somewhat. And Swindle has been full sent by this enemy light tank. Now, I want to punish this light tank. I can't let him get away with doing that. And thankfully, with the help of my friendly teammate there, the artillery, we shut him down and we're able to keep Swindle from losing too much hit points, which is nice. So, good that we killed one of the enemy light tanks. I think he is the only enemy light tank in the game. So it's always a good advantage when you can kill that tank. And we pick up a little bit of damage, a little bit of assistance. But we're going to start making this push now, and essentially what I want to do is, you can see these tanks on the left, I want to put them in a crossfire. I need to use these rocks here for protection, because there was an enemy tank which was shooting us from the sort of one line, and I'm letting Swindle know that. So I need to lose my spot, but I'm also sort of saying, Swindle's communicating, well, if you spot that tank, I've got a clip ready to help you out. So I am going to move down there, see if I can light that tank and see if Swindle can put some shots into him. I do spot it, it's an enemy Scorpion G, and Swindle's going to start putting shots into this tank, which is going to force him back and allow me to now try and focus on these medium tanks here. And yeah, this is kind of a good decision to make, because we're able to sort of work together to win this side. We killed a Scorpion G. With the help of Swindle here, now I can just fight these tanks which have sort of pushed up. Like I say, I've only got 5 degrees of gun depression, so you have to sort of find the bits of ridges which are going to work for you. We put a secondary shot into that enemy UDES there, putting them onto a potential one shot to us now, and we do manage to pick up the kill, which confirms our second kill of the game, putting us into a 13 versus 11. We do have the advantage, but hit points are still pretty close. I actually don't think there's many tanks down the sort of K12 area, and then this is actually going to give me the freedom to push up, and if I can get to sort of the K2 area, those medium tanks in the middle are then dead, because I'm going to be able to kill them for free. They won't be able to stay safe from me. We chance a snapshot, which we do actually manage to connect to pick up a kill. We do get spotted for it, but like I say, it's not too much of a problem. This tank is just going to be destroyed now because he's caught in the open from those angles. I wasn't able to pick up the kill, but we do put me on to 3 kills, 2,000 damage and 1,000 assistance here, with only 9 tanks remaining, the majority of which are going to be in the ridge in front of me or in the sort of KG sort of 8-9 area. So I'm going to push as fast as I can because I've got a lot of tanks covering me and I want to pick up this assistance damage. Now if I'm the tank which spots these targets with all those friendly tanks at sort of the F45 ridge line, they're going to give me all the assistance, which is exactly what's happening. This enemy heavy tank is going to die. It's just whether he puts a big double shot into us. He actually puts a single shot into us and we're able to not lose too much damage. And we want to try and continue this push because ultimately I want to try and light the tanks to get the assistance and get the most out of this game possible. So as we make our advance round here, we actually spot the enemy artillery, the enemy fun police, and he puts a nasty shot into us. We put one into him, and now we're going to try and, well, basically kill this tank by swapping to the flamethrower. You see, you have to wait a little time for the ticks start to, to do the damage. But once it gets going with those open tank top vehicles, you end up destroying all of their crew and equipment. Now we are able to shut him down pretty quickly with the help of our flamethrower there, and now unfortunately we are on 456 hit points, so we don't have a lot. We are a one shot to some of the potential TDs here, but we do get blind fired there, and now we are a definite one shot to these targets. So we've got to be careful because we have no hit points, but I still want to try and make the most out of this game. And yeah, we're having a good game, 3,000 assistance, 4,000 damage, but there's still 4 tanks remaining and 21 hit points, 21% hit points. There's still damage available to us. Now we're down to our heat shells here, which is good because over distance we're not going to lose any penetration drop off, and we should be able to make quick work of these tanks. But we do have pretty slow shell velocity, so you do need to make sure you aim that lead time there. So 3 tanks remaining. It looks like this game is going to be over very quickly. I'd like to pick up one more shot to bring it to the 5k mark. Unfortunately, it's looking like I'm not sure that's going to happen. But yeah, with only 1 TD left, I've got to just try and go for it now. If he shuts us down, it doesn't really matter too much. I'd just like to connect that one final shell. And just hoping he's going to allow me to do so. Now we do manage to connect, and we actually put ourselves onto over 5,000 damage with 3,000 assistance, bringing this end to the game and the video. So thank you for all your amazing support. If you do like the video, please remember to like and subscribe. It really does help out the channel. But yeah, both me and Sundu had a nice game, and we pick up the ace tanker and the high caliber. So there you go. Thanks for your support, and as always, happy tanking.
Hadouken!